Well, what we understand is that Donald Trump has signed an executive order hitting India with an additional 25% tariff as punishment for buying Russian oil. Veera, just yesterday he said that he is going to impose significant tariffs on India as a way of punishing India for buying Russian oil.
To help me understand this, Vasudha, it means more 25% more than the 25% that was already announced, and this was that penalty that he had announced in the last time. The 24-hour deadline we were expecting later tonight, but it's happened already right now. That's going to be a huge blow, something that's extremely worrying for India in terms of its India-US relations. It's actually been seen as something of an obnoxious step by the president, by several experts in India, Vasudha.
Absolutely, Veera. I remember that Indian officials have been working hard to get that BTA, the bilateral trade agreement, signed with US officials, but that has not really worked out because what we hear is that India was not ready to compromise on several sectors, specifically agriculture. And now what we understand is that Donald Trump has imposed a 25% additional tariff on India, and all of this happening even as there was a debate going on, Operation Sindoor, and Donald Trump himself several times coming in, intervening and saying that he was the one who facilitated the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Now we understand that Donald Trump has signed an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on India. This is apart from the 25% tariff that's already been imposed on India, and this is after what he said yesterday.
That's a total 50%.
Yes. Veera, what do you have to say?
That's a total 50% tariff there.
Absolutely. Veera, where does India stand? Because we've been talking about the kind of competitors we have, like, Vietnam or Bangladesh, but clearly 50% is a lot. It is a diplomatic setback. How do you see this? How do you see the fallout?
Well, I think this really changes, right? Every part of the world has been contending with it. This could be part of the negotiating process that's been playing out as well. Let's not forget, this is not the final word, but the fact, the tonality of it, Vasudha, and the kind of statements that's come out has been what has really led to concerns. At the start, when that first announcement came through at 25% tariff, several observers believe that this was a maximalist position that he's taken with several people trying to bargain and get on the track for his "Make America Great Again" slogan. How this is going to work out, because for instance, China has taken on Trump, but there are questions over China getting some kind of recess in certain spaces as well. So it would be very closely watched. The fact that this has been linked to Russian oil as well tends to raise several concerning questions as far as India's own strategic interests are concerned. It will be negotiated very, very closely.
Right. We did see that statement that MEA put out, strongly defending India's position and decision to buy Russian oil, saying that it was the United States of America that had also encouraged parts of it. They had also talked about the duplicity of NATO nations buying Russian gas as well. But clearly, Trump slapping 25% additional tariff on India, not just a diplomatic setback, but clearly something that is obnoxious and something that India should be talking against. But remember, Veera, that countries like Brazil have also talked about it, and this is something that's happening across the world. India is not the only one that is.
Vasudha.
Yeah.
Vasudha, I think an isolationist policy could perhaps work out. One has to see how this plays out, because the long-term implications of this could well be very, very interesting to watch out of.
Absolutely.
Which economies need which ones more, how it's going to play out would be very, very interesting and important to watch out for.
Yes, Veera, we're also looking at this as an opportunity, but remember that there was always this apprehension and expectation that Trump would chicken out, the taco aspect, but clearly this is a decision that he has made. Disha Bakshi joins us from the newsroom, and she has been tracking this issue very closely. Disha, explain to us, is this 25%, this is apart from the 25% that he has already imposed on us, where does India stand now in terms of global competition?
Absolutely. So the explosive announcement coming in from US President Trump now with the additional 25% tariffs, which he's calling as a penalty for India's imports of Russian oil. The total tariffs on India from US is now at a whooping 50%. So this is one of the highest tariff rates on any that the US has imposed on any country so far in the last couple of months. We've seen that earlier China had faced this kind of escalating tariff rates from 45% to almost 125%, but even that was then reduced and now they're having a truce. But even Brazil had initially faced a 45% tariff rate, but now that was also reduced later on. But now with India, this whooping 50% tariff rate is going to have a significant impact on India's trade relationship with the US, and really escalating this war of words with now actions announcing this 25% tariff rate, something that nobody really was expecting, that it would be a whooping 50% tariff rate now, one of the highest that India has ever faced from the United States. So really US President Trump making it clear that he's not going to tolerate India's imports of Russian oil. And this also comes as NSA Ajit Doval is in Moscow right now. He's expected to meet President Putin tomorrow. We are yet to see how India is going to respond to this, whether we look at the WTO now to retaliate with tit-for-tat tariffs, or will we now look at talks and see how we can bring this tariff rate down?